Hi guys, welcome back to It's Cooking Good. Today I'm going to be cooking pork agrodolce. Agrodolce basically is a sweet and sour Italian dish. And I'm using very few ingredients. It's really simple. So let's have a look. There's 4 ingredients there. We're going to be using those. And then we're using a pork fillet, okay? Pork fillet is great because it's really inexpensive. You can pick these up for about £3 to £4 and it will feed probably 3 to 4 people easily. It's really lean and actually pretty good for you. All I'm going to do first is just season it up with a little bit of salt and pepper on all sides. What I've also done is just taken off any of the sinew. When I talk about sinew, it's these little white bits. It was covering quite a bit of one side, but you want to get that off. Just use a sharp knife and your fingers or a bit of kitchen roll because it's quite slippery, just to take it off, because otherwise what you'll find is the meat will sort of shrink up as you put it in the pan. And that's it. Done. That's all we're going to do to that. I'll see you over at the hob. Let's get cooking. Okay, so first things first, what I will say to you is for this recipe, ideally what you need is an oven-proof pan, because we're going to start with the pork on the top here, but it is going to go into the oven. So ideally that's what you need. Preheated the pan, just putting a little bit of oil in there. And then we're going to get our pork. And what we're effectively going to do is seal it, okay? Don't worry, I haven't chosen the biggest of pans. I don't need to. It's fine, okay? And we're just going to let that cook on all sides until we've got a nice little bit of colour on it. Okay, we'll just turn that over now. Do the other side. There we go, we've got some nice coloration there, which is perfect. This is literally cooking probably for about 1.5 minutes each side, that's all. We're just going to finish it off, we'll do this one next. Okay, so let's have another 1.5 minutes. Let's turn it onto its final side like so. And at this point, I'm just going to go in with 2 cloves of garlic, which I've literally just cut in half, and some nice fresh thyme. Popping away, lovely. Just to flavour that oil up a little bit. Perfect. Okay, that's had its 1.5 minutes. Now we're going to go in with balsamic vinegar. Turn that down a little bit. I'm probably going to use about ½ a cup. I'm not using an expensive one, just a normal sort of supermarket balsamic, and then honey. And again, I'd say I'm probably going to use about 2 tablespoons. This is where obviously your sweet and sour is coming from. And all I want to do is just move that around just to make sure the pork is coated in that lovely sauce. And I'm just going to bring that now back up to the simmer. And then it's going to go in the oven at 180 for 20 to 25 minutes. I'll see you shortly. Okay, so whilst the pork's cooking, we're actually going to eat this with some polenta this evening. So I'm going to make that up now. What I've got in the pan at the moment is 750 millilitres of liquid, and I've made that up with 500 millilitres of milk and 250 millilitres of water. This is your sort of instant cooked polenta. It does give you instructions on the packet. They say to do it with just water. I like to do it with the milk. I think it adds a bit more creaminess to the texture. And then we're going in with 180 grams of the polenta. This should serve probably 2 to 3 people, to be fair. And we're just going to stir that in. At the same time as I'm stirring it in, I'm just going in with some dried rosemary. I love the flavour of dried rosemary with polenta. I think it works really well, and I think it will go really well with this dish. I will, obviously, with all of today's recipe, put all of the quantities and everything down below in the description, as always. So don't worry, it will be there, I promise. Great thing with polenta as well is that we always have some left over. It is great for things like polenta chips. So put it into a dish, let it cool down, put it in the fridge overnight, and then cut it into sort of like French fry type shapes, or as big as you want, and then just coat it in a little bit of oil, rosemary if you want, some garlic, whatever you want, and then put it in the oven. And I tell you what, they are amazing. They come out really crispy and so tasty. So this is going to take about 8 minutes to cook. We're going to add some other bits and bobs to it shortly, but I'll just let that cook down and I'll come back to you shortly. Okay, so our polenta's had its 8 minutes. I'm just going to add in a nice dollop of butter just to enrich it that little bit more. And then we're going to go in with about 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan. This isn't for the faint-hearted. So we're just going to whisk that in like so, just to incorporate it. Lovely. That's it. Perfect. That can now sit until our pork is ready. I'm just going to put the lid back on it and we'll serve it up all together shortly. Okay, so our pork actually took a little bit longer. Actually took 30 minutes, but it was a bit thick in some parts, so that's fine. We're going to bring that out. Be careful with your pinkies because that is going to be very hot. Let's turn that oven off. And what I want to do is I'm just going to rest this now. It's got an internal temperature, I've just checked it, of 160, and you want it between 160 and 165, and I know this is obviously going to reduce down a bit, so that's fine. What I'm going to do now is take our juices and our sauce over to the hob. I'm going to reduce it down a little bit, add some butter, just to thicken it slightly, and then we're ready to put the final dish together. I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so that's back on the hob. What I want to do is just take out our herbs and garlic. They've done their job. So let's just remove them from the pan, like so. Don't worry if there's a few little sprigs of thyme, that's absolutely fine. And we're just going to turn that up a little bit, just to bring it up nicely so it's bubbling away. And then we're going to go in with a little bit of butter, like so, and just stir that through. Get my cloth, I don't want to burn my hands. Lovely. Trust me, honestly, I know I said it before, if you like sweet and sour, this is a great dish. And you can feed plenty of people with it as well. Goes a long way, that pork fillet, it really does. That's it. That's incorporated. We'll leave that for about a minute now, and then we're ready to assemble the final dish. Okay, so we are done. Let's have a look at our pork. It's been resting now whilst the sauce has been reducing. Just get rid of that. I'm just going to put this onto a chopping board and bring that in, like so. What we'll do is we're just going to slice this up perfectly. I like to slice it into thin slices. I don't like it too thick. Plus the fact it goes further. It's nice and tender, and if you can see that, it's still got some nice colour there. And that's it. Let's start with that. Perfect. I'm going to move that out of the way for a second and bring in a plate which I've just heated through. I'm going to get some of our polenta. Put a nice dollop in the middle, sort of making a sort of well, if you like, a base for your pork. Let's get the pork. We'll just arrange that on the top. Let's get that little piece under there, like so. And then some of our lovely agrodolce sauce. And just drizzle that over the top. Wow, it looks great. Even if I do say so myself. Right. Oh, just get rid of that. Let's move all this out of the way. Obviously, the only thing now left to do is for me to give it a try. So let's see how we've done. I'll go for this, oh, this nice big bit, I can't resist. So I'll give that a cut. Feels nice and tender, great. Bit of the polenta, bit of the sauce, come here. That's great. The pork's nice and tender. I can really taste the thyme. It's really infused, that pork. Obviously, I can taste the balsamic vinegar and the honey. Gives it that nice sweet and sour flavour, which we know. The polenta's great. Combination of the parmesan and the rosemary. It just works so well as a dish. Guys, honestly, give this one a go. I really think you will enjoy this. It's fantastic. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. If you like the content, please do like and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you next time. That is cooking good.